Welcome back to Grief Inspired. This is a book I'm going to tell you about today that I created to honor my son, Jackson Robert. This is Grief Inspired, and at Grief Inspired, I shine a light on the darkness of your grief. I give you tools and education that you can use to help you heal from the pain of loss. And my main goal is to really help you find meaning for your life after the loss has happened, because so much changes in your life when you lose someone so close to you. So I'm so glad that you're here. Today we are going to talk about staying connected with the person that you've lost. So I am going to give you 5 very specific ways, things that you can do to stay connected, and make sure that you stay all the way to the end so that you can see what my number 1 tip is. And as always, thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when there's new content that comes out. I've just passed 1,000 subscribers and I'm super excited about it. So I want to continue to serve you. So if I am serving you and you have not subscribed to my channel, I want to encourage you to do that. And I want to encourage you to reach out to me at griefinspired@gmail.com. Leave comments on the videos here. I want to talk to you and I want to know more about what's going on with you. And I want to help you specifically get through this. Get through this, understand more about it, make meaning of what has happened, and then find new meaning for your life, because I think that grief will do that to you. The level of change, the magnitude of pain, it's creating so much that you need to deal with, that you really shouldn't have to do it on your own, and I don't want you to do it on your own, so stick with me. So today we're going to talk about feeling connected, and this is a book that I created in honor of my son Jackson, and I'm going to show you more about that. So 6 ways that you can feel connected to the person that you've lost. I mean, first of all, let's start by saying that they're physically not with you, and that's why we call it loss, right? You've lost their physical presence. I've talked in previous videos about the hole and the void and the gaping wound that is left in your heart because you don't have them with you. But I think that the thing that's important to know is that just because they're not physically with you doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship has ended. The relationship that you have and had with them is going to continue. And it may morph and it's going to change because it's not the same. You can't go to dinner with them. You can't go places with them. You can't spend time with them in the physical world. But that doesn't mean that you can't stay connected. And that's so very important to know, because we miss this connection. We crave it. We need it. And the world isn't necessarily set up to help us do that. So we feel very much on our own. Like we have to figure it out for yourself. So here we are, 6 different things. First one I want to say is, when we are staying connected with the people that we miss, is talk to them. Sometimes people feel funny speaking out loud to somebody who's not there, or they say, is this weird that I'm doing this? Is there something wrong with me? And my answer is no. I mean, we see all of the times, right? Social media or movies will show someone going to a gravesite, right? And communicating with them. Why is it any different to do it in your own home, to do it when you're by yourself, to talk to them when you're in your car? Because the thing is that you've known them so well, right? You're so close to them. You love them so much that oftentimes, and depending on the length of the relationship with the person, I talk to people who have lost spouses. They were married for 30, 40, 50 years. Well, you can't just stop that conversation. If it's somebody that you've been in a relationship with, that relationship's going to continue. So feel free to talk to them. And it can be, you can do it in a variety of ways. If you're not comfortable talking to them out loud, I have one client who holds the phone up to his ear as if he's talking to them on a phone. And I like that. You can, like I said, you can talk out loud. You can write it in letters. You can write letters to them. You can use the grief journal that I have, and there's portions in there where you can, sections where you can write to your loved one. You can do it in a prayer sort of way, where maybe you're not speaking it out loud, but you're just kind of talking to them silently in your own mind. And all of these things I think are good. You can ask them questions. And when you're grappling with decisions, because there's a lot of decisions that come up as a result of loss, talk to them, and then listen. And I can guarantee that you probably know how they're going to respond, the things that they might say. So I want to encourage that. So the number one way to stay connected is just talk to them. Call them on the phone, pretend you're calling them on the phone, write letters to them, but just speak to them in the day-to-day. Whenever it comes up, whenever you feel like you need to talk to them, go ahead and do that. Number two would be to wear something on your physical body that makes you feel closer to them. So for me, with my son, this is my locket. It was the one thing that almost immediately after I lost my son, I went to my sister. I don't know if you can see her. There's pictures of him in there. I apologize. I'm suffering from a bit of a cold. I went to my sister and I said, I need a locket. I need a locket. I need to have his picture in it. I need to have him with me. I want him close to my heart, right? So for me, that was something that just immediately came up. But there are things, there are clothes. You could carry something with you that maybe was special to them. It could be something that they gave to you. If you don't have anything else, you could create something or buy something that reminds you of them and carry it with you, right? It could be something that you put in your purse or your wallet. It could be a memory or a worry stone, or a crystal. There's coins, right? I have some guardian angel coins that I've given to my son to carry with him to school, and he keeps it in his backpack so that if something were to happen, he could hold that, he could keep it close, he could know it's there, he can feel safe and protected. And I tell him, your older brother Jackson is a guardian angel, and he is with you, and he is watching over you, and you can feel his presence. And so whatever that is carry something with you or wear something with that's going to remind you of them, and that's going to make them feel closer to you. Next is creating memorial items that you can keep in your home, things that you can have. So I didn't have a lot because my son lived only for 6 weeks. But what I did have was some pictures that an organization called Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep had taken, these beautiful photos. And so I spent some time and I put them in an album that I can go back to and I can look at. And I put poems in there. I put things that I just, things I wanted to remember about him. Pictures of my favorite nurse. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. And these things are really special. And so whenever I need to feel closer to him, I can pull this out. And I keep it here. I keep it in my bedroom. If you want to put it out as a coffee table book, you can absolutely do that. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't do that. But it's really creating anything from what they had, what was important to them, what was special to them. Putting things in a memory box is another good idea. Things that were really special. Preserve them, cherish them, honor them, and put them together in a way that you can show other people. It's a way you can talk more about them, right? Not only talking to them, but talking about them is super, super healthy. So that was 3 so far. So talk to them or about them, wear something that makes you feel connected to them. And then 3 is create memorial items that you can have in your home. And just even putting together a scrapbook, putting these things together, the act of doing that will leave you feeling connected to them in a big way. And it doesn't matter when you do that, right? Maybe you've had pictures or things that you've had for years that you really haven't dealt with because it was too painful before. Well, if it's a few years out, maybe now's the time to get it out and put together a nice collage or something that you want to remember. Or maybe it's one photo, right, that you're going to put in a really nice frame and keep close to you, and maybe keep it on your bedside. These kinds of things. Number 4 would be to do charitable deeds. So do anything that's going to honor them, right? So if you're going to participate in a walk or a run to support cancer, if your loved one happened to die of cancer or a different type of illness, if they suffered from diabetes, going on a diabetes walk, or volunteering to pass out flyers or work on the phones, or support whatever organization it is that you want to do, or just raise awareness by putting together a post about maybe what they went through. Someone I know, they they do blood drives, and it's in honor of their son who passed away way too soon. And it's a beautiful and charitable way to give back. And by doing that, by helping others, by doing something that honors your loved one, it's going to bring you closer to them. It's going to make you feel closer. It's going to help you stay connected. Number 5 is live the values that they valued, or the qualities about them, right? So you love them. There were things about them that you treasure, that you cherish, right? Drop me comments below about what was it about your loved one that brought so much meaning to your life. Were they kind and generous? I had one of the members of my grief course, which just ended, and our next one is going to start May 21st. So if you want to jump into that one, let me know. But her mother used to give flowers. She would donate flowers because she loved flowers. And so this girl found someone else who had lost their wife. And so without even thinking, she says, I don't know why I did this, but she bought an orchid and she took an orchid and she left it. And such a beautiful gift, right? That was a charitable deed, something that she did to help someone else. But in doing that, she was really honoring her own loss. So, and by doing that charitable deed, she was actually living what her mother valued. And by living what her mother valued, it brought her closer to her mother, right? And so there's so often when, we may have tumultuous relationships, right? Not everything is necessarily, rainbows and unicorns. And sometimes there's difficulty in our relationships. And so that can leave us feeling guilty. And so living some of what they really valued, the better parts of them, the things that you really do cherish about them. And maybe it's finding a new awareness of something that you didn't know. You're like, I never really paid attention. She was very generous, or he was very interested in like diving in and learning more, right? So they maybe were working on a project or learning about something. You could go and learn about that same thing, or you could finish the project that they were working on. Or if they were a good cook, you could take a cooking class and honor them. And by doing that, feel closer to them. So it's really the things, the qualities, the values that they had, the way they showed up in the world, you could be living that and leaning into that. And by doing that, it will make you feel closer to them. And then finally, I told you I was going to wait till the end. So number 6, I think, is the biggest one, the best one. Could potentially be a hard one for some of you, depending on where you are in your grief journey. But I want you to jot this down and keep this somewhere, because at some point in your grief journey, it's going to become very, very important for you. And that one is to Live your life for them. You are still here. They are gone. And if you think about it, right? Grief has so much suffering. We suffer for so long as we grieve. But the reality is that your loved one would not want you to suffer, right? Going back to number 1 that says talk to them, ask them. What would they say to you right now about you suffering, about you grappling with the guilt, about the resentment and the anger and the betrayal and all of the emotions that are going on? What would they share with you? And then if they're going to tell you that they don't want you to suffer, because that's what most people would tell me when I asked them what their loved one would tell them. They said, well, they wouldn't want me to suffer. They would want me to be happy. They would want me to find joy. So the number 1 way, really, that you can feel close to them is to live your life for them. The life that you have. Share who they were. Be the best version of yourself. Do the things that you've been putting off. Try to minimize the things that get us all caught up in the rat race, the things that really aren't important, and live your life for them. And live your life fully. And if your loved one was gone far too soon, live the life that they didn't get to have. And do it as a way to honor them. And then let them walk with you. Remember, that relationship that you have with your loved one does not end. Whether you believe in an afterlife or not, whether you believe that they're in heaven, their memory at the most basic is with you. And their presence and their spirit of who they were can stay with you. And so live your life for them. So I hope that all of these things are going to help you stay connected to your loved one. Again, my grief course is coming up. If you want to jump in on that, it starts May 21st. So I need you to reach out to me soon because that course is filling up. We like to keep it small on purpose. But if you want to work through the process, if you want to get educated about your grief and what is happening and learn how to move forward through it, then that grief course is for you. And I would love to talk to you more about it. So drop me a comment, send me an email, let me know, and we'll just talk it out and see whether or not that course would be right for you. So continue to work on these things, stay connected to your loved one, and be the light. Be the light. Let the light shine on you. Grief can feel really dark, but there can be moments of light. And so I want you to find those moments of light. And when you are staying connected to them, those lights, I promise, will show up for you. Bye for now.